Good evening, race fans, and welcome. It's yet another first here on VirtualRacing.Network, the very first ever Icon Cup Series race live here on VirtualRacing.Network. It's iRacing on VirtualRacing.Network from the old Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is going to be the Icon Cup Series Season 1 Race 1, and we are so grateful to have you with us here. Tonight, we are set for a fantastic race. As I mentioned, this is going to be at the old Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is the 2008 version, the 1.54 miler. It's still plenty fast, don't worry, and still plenty hot. 40 laps in the first stage, 130 laps overall. We are so anxious to get started with this brand new season and brand new racing series. Hello again, everybody. I'm Trevor Greenfield, and it's so great to be with you again here doing NASCAR Next Gen coverage on iRacing. And as always, it seems, I am joined here in the booth by none other than NORA Cup Series veteran and also team owner here in the Icon Cup Series, Christian Snyder, joining me here. And Christian, it's so great to have you here as well. What can all of these fans look forward to tonight here at the old Atlanta Motor Speedway?
Well, it's pretty slick out there. I mean, it's 116-degree track temp, so it's going to be a wild race, a lot of loose cars. I love this version of old Atlanta because the new one is kind of, that pack racing, plate racing type vibe. This one is a driver's track, and I really love this version. Can't wait to see what these guys do. This is the first time we're ever here watching these guys, so can't wait to see who might be the favorites for the season and, some new names that could impress us.
Well, as you mentioned, some great talent here in the field. We've got Daytona 24 winners, Indy 500 winners, multiple eNASCAR winners here, and of course, NORA. For those of you familiar with the series that we broadcast on Monday and Tuesday nights here on VirtualRacing.Network, the NORA Series winners. Ronnie Norman is going to be here racing in the Icon Series, and numerous others that you'll be very familiar with, including Cody Height on YouTube, Blake Timmons, a number of fantastic drivers, and Tim Harper as well, not to leave him out, yeah. The owner of Harper Motorsports. And Christian, of course, you have your Full Send Motorsports here in the league as well.
Yeah, I brought some guys over from NORA to come test out this league and see if they like it and have some fun. Mark Morton and Brendan Jenks are running tonight, so can't wait to see what they do.
Well, as they are qualifying out there in the background, we've got Blake Timmons just finishing his qualifying effort, good enough for fourth fastest. And there's a few new names for us to call out here on VirtualRacing.Network. I'm so happy about that. Kyle Gilbert just putting in the seventh fastest time. Nathan Finnegan just getting in his eighth fastest time as well. Christopher Howell out there on track at the moment in ninth fastest. Looking a little bit further back, looks like Nick Halford and Jovi Ray getting in their fast times as well. So we watch the top of the charts there, and in the meantime, why don't we go talk about what these drivers might be facing out there tonight. Let's take a look here at the rules. Now, there you can see it on your screen, and Christian, I've highlighted some of the really important ones there in yellow, but basically there's no fast repairs out there. There is going to be a stage break, 75% race fuel in the car, and it is a fixed setup, so that means these drivers aren't going to be having to deal with out there grinding on those setups and trying to make them perfect. It's just one setup for everybody. Green-white checkers, there's going to be 3 attempts at it, just like over in the NORA series, if you're familiar with that. And 2 drop races during the regular season, no drops during the playoffs. Top 12 drivers in the regular season standings make the playoffs, so only 12 getting in out of quite a field tonight. 39 drivers going to be taking the start here tonight, and drivers may qualify for a playoff position by winning a race. So I expect there's a very good chance that that playoff roster may fill up just from winners.
Yeah, it's a good chance. You know, we've seen it in real life happen before whenever they have 16 playoff spots and there's been 16 winners. So with only 12, there's certainly enough guys in the field that are capable of winning. We'll see who gets that first one, the inaugural Icon Series win tonight. But favorite right now has to be the owner of Icon, Ryan Patty, as he's on pole.
Ryan Patty taking pole position. Congratulations to him. And I I just think that's amazing. It's a bit like watching Josh Conover over in Nora do the same sort of thing. But congratulations, taking pole position in his very first race here for the Icon Cup Series. And we hope you're enjoying it out there in VirtualRacing.Network YouTube land. Let us know how it looks. But let's go ahead and go down through the starting order. There you see it. Ryan Patty on pole. Next to him, Andrew Cootie starting in second place. On the second row will be Brian Smith and Blade Timmons. Great start for Blade tonight. Brandon Coley going to be starting on the third row next to Jamie Leigh Dunning. And on the fourth row, very familiar name, Ronnie Norman. I see that he brought Stephen Dombrowski over in the Ronnie Norman fan club to the YouTube chat room. Great to have him alongside of his Harper Motorsports teammate, Timothy Harper. So that's 3 Harper teammates there in the top 10. Kyle Gilbert going to be starting in 9th place. Nathan Finnegan in 10th. Christopher Howell going to be starting in 11th place. Brendan Jinks, your driver over there at Full Send Motorsports, going to be starting there in 12th.
And if you want me to go through the rest,
Sure.
I can here for you. Starting 13th, Scott Patton, and beside him, Nick Alford. Then 15th, we got Jovi Ray and Michael Jennings in the next row there. Then we got Joseph Causey, I think that's how it's pronounced, and Cody Neal. Adam Ball starting 19th, and Kevin Gunther in 20th. I'm going to pronounce it that way because of WWE. But 21st, Vincent Loria, Brad Stagel, Mark Morton behind him in 23rd, Cody Height on YouTube in 24th, Isaac Emerson 25th, Tanner Dio in 26th, Tony Carpenter, and Evan, I'm probably gonna get this wrong, Patinko, I think it is.
That's a good attempt.
It's a good attempt. We got Beckett Brown in 29th, Stephen Tuck in 30th, Justin Michael in 31st, Logan Hoskins in 32nd, Donald Blackburn in 33rd, William Baker 34th, Thomas Taylor 35th, Cody Eldred in 36th, Jacob Smith and Cameron King, as well as Hanover Fist rounding out your field as we're about to go green.
Just about to step on that loud pedal for the first time. This is quite a field to be calling here on VirtualRacing.Network, about ready to kick off the Icon Cup Series for the very first time, and we are green here at Old Hotlanta. Ryan Patty steps on that loud pedal, and you can see they're still staying 2 by 2, going back all the way through the field. No changes so far, but Patty jumping out to the opening lead. Still stacking up behind. We've got 3 wide just behind. A couple of drivers making their way through the field at the moment.
Yeah, I couldn't tell who that was, but it was a 3 wide moment. He lost control there and slid up, but now really close here for second. The 9 of Cody right on the door of Smith.
Absolutely right on the door of Smith. That's Coley and Smith right there battling it out. Coley in the 11, and now you see the 9 of Cootie coming forward.
Yeah, Cootie working on Brian Smith here for second, but Brian Patty has pulled out to a decent lead here. On back in the field, you see Ronnie Norman side by side with Brandon Coley in the 11 right now. Really nice paint scheme for Brandon Coley. Reminds me of the Dale Earnhardt Sr. scheme.
Well, and you don't have to look very far to find one of our first hard-charging cars. There he is in the number 18, Ronnie Norman. And we apologize if anybody's paint is not loading correctly tonight. We're going to attempt to get that fixed. But at the moment, it is all Ryan Patty tonight in second place. Quite a battle happening here. Cootie now taking that position back once again from Smith. Smith settling into third, and there's Norman with a little bit more action just behind. That's Blade Timmons and Brandon Cawley there side by side. for that 5th position.
Yeah, and now Finnegan looking on the outside of Coley there. He's trying to make the outside work, which I think at this track is going to. Oh, he gets loose.
So
Finnegan
loose.
with a loose moment there.
That's
going to allow Gilbert to his outside.
The Collar City racing driver looked like he just about lost it there. And he did slip back a position, but Gilbert getting that position. And so far, so clean up front for Patty. Although it does look like Hootie is starting to close in. In fact, that last time, a 31.40, the fastest lap of the race for Andrew Hootie already. So, oh, and we've got a car,
we got a car in the wall.
Going sideways. He's collected another car. I believe it's Jinx.
Oh, man, that was a big hit. No caution, though. We are still green.
Indeed it is.
That's Brendan Jenks.
Unfortunately, one of your drivers over at Full Send Motorsports. And rough way to get his season going, but back underway he is. Baker not getting underway. This is also Nick Alford for Inspire Motorsports, getting caught up in that one just a little bit ago. We'll get back to that in a minute. While it's still green flag action, we don't want to miss that. Ryan Patty still doing well out front, but right now, side by side for that 5th position, Blake Timmons on the inside, now getting ahead of Brian Smith in that 78 machine.
Yeah, he's making that outside work for him, and I think that's the same lane that Cootie's running for second, and that's why he ran down Ryan Patty. I think the outside lane is going to be the way to go here tonight. As you can see, they're pretty single file here on the bottom from about 5th on back, but those front 4 are using that top lane, and it's really working for them right now.
So Cootie taking over the top position from Patty. Now has to try to recapture that lead. It looked like he went out there, used the tires pretty well to maintain an early advantage over everybody, but now it's starting to come back to hurt him.
Yeah, and you can see Ronnie using the outside lane in 3rd there, trying to catch up to Ryan Patty now. And like I said, the outside lane just has that momentum. You know, not in the beginning of the corner. You'll see Ronnie kind of drop back here, but on the exit of the corner, he has a huge run down the back stretch and front stretch. So that's where he's using that outside lane to his advantage. It maybe isn't the faster way around, but it gives you that momentum to allow you to make the passes.
So, Hootie already enjoying a very nice, healthy lead, about 3 car lengths over Patty. Ronnie Norman, though, Stormin' Norman already gaining 4 positions, and he's now taking a look on the low side on Patty. He's going to straighten it back out, but right now nobody's really gone anywhere. This is a very tight battle here at the front for this very first race of the Icon Cup Series.
Yeah, the top 10 all kind of sticking together here. There's a little gap between 10th and 11th there of Jamie Lee Dunning and Joseph Causey, a little bit of a gap. But then on back, you got Scott Pattern and Christopher Howell right there with them. So it's kind of like a 13-car breakaway here up toward the front.
Well, again, we're going until lap number 40. That'll be the first stage break, and we'll have we've got a car going
That's
low.
227.
The 227 of Gilbert having a little bit of a loose problem. That's what you were talking about. The temperature is going to make it difficult for these drivers to keep it pointed straight, and we might be starting to see those tires starting to have some issues, and I think these drivers are really going to have to pedal those cars going forward.
Yeah, and I think from what I've heard from practice, turn 2 is the trouble spot of getting loose. As you see, Tim Harper had a moment there. He's going to lose a few positions. He got real loose off of 2. But everyone said that 4 was kind of good. 2 is real loose.
Well, here comes Patty once again to the low side. He'll try and size up Cootie here over the long run. Also, see that Mark Morton just came into the pits, and he's just now leaving the pits. So, looks like Ronnie Norman now giving a shot on the low side on Patty. So, move Ronnie Norman now up into that 2nd position. Although he's still racing side by side. We'll see whether he can shut the deal here.
It's going to be hard to do. That outside has that momentum. What Ronnie has to do is he's got to wrap that white line and almost Harvick the track. Harvick made that move famous, so they call it Harvicking. So he's got to try that, or he's got to get up to the outside because he's going to get freight trained here by these next 3 cars. Oh, almost. I think Ryan Patty got the wall.
Indeed he did, and this is not looking so great for Patty. He's gone from first all the way back now to 6th, so he's definitely drifting back.
Might have ran off the tires a little too early in the run, pushed it a little bit too hard. You can see he's really struggling, real loose into the grass. So yeah, his tires are not liking him right now.
We've seen this so many times before where you're able to get up there in the lead and really punish those tires. Of course, he does take a bonus point for leading a lap, but unfortunately, it all comes at a price. So we see now Timmy Harper racing side by side.
Oh my goodness.
Joseph Causey.
Is that Blade Timmons up front, 3 wide with Smith and Finnegan, I believe?
Well, they've kind of settled down from the 3 wide that they were in, but Blade Timmons has now settled into 3rd, so that's Andrew Cootie up in front with Ronnie Norman about 10 car lengths back, and then Blade Timmons running in that 3rd spot. So far,
Cootie with a comfortable lead right now. He's got about 3 or 4 car lengths using that outside. Oh, now he drops it to the inside, so maybe he's finding some grip down there, not sure. But I really think outside is going to be better in the long run. The low side is going to work on restarts. You're definitely going to want to run down there. As you can see another car, not sure who that is, that orange car on the inside. I think that's Dunning. He's making the inside work pretty well there. That was a good run through the corner.
And indeed it is Dunning. He's racing on in that 6th position. That is where he qualified. You can see all this action happening just in front. Blade Timmons and Brian Smith racing it out. Looks like Harper having a problem.
Yeah, trouble.
And we've got some cars stacked up here.
Oh, this is going to be big. People got a break for this.
So I believe that one might have been caused, or at least included, Timothy Harper. And there are quite a few cars involved, as you can see. Kevin Gunther, Cody Eldred, Jacob Smith now coming down to slower speed. So let's go ahead and take a look back here and see if we can tell exactly what happened. There's a lot of cars involved in this one, but it looks like it started with Harper going off track. Let's see if we get a little bit closer, if we can tell exactly what took place here.
Well, he's running the top here in 3 and 4, so maybe just gets loose. Let's see. Yeah, just gets a little bit loose, comes down, gets tagged. I think Tim is going to be okay, but the car that tagged him is not. He went head first into the wall, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, maybe the 46. I think it was a car in the 40s. Yeah, it was Scott Pat in the 46.
Also, the car of Causey getting caught up in that one as well. Number 8 car. Let's see if we can tell exactly what happened. This was from Causey's point of view. Oh, you can see he just makes contact. 46.
Yeah, and then he's just along for the ride there, and a couple pinballs from not slowing down enough for the race, or for the wreck, I mean. You know, you have that. This track kind of, it's not a self-cleaning track on that front stretch. They just kind of stay spread out throughout the entire front stretch, so it's kind of hard to avoid wrecks, but you see a lot of the drivers coming into pit, and a couple staying out, though. I think the top 9 are going to stay out.
Well, quite an interesting first stage so far of this inaugural race for the Icon Cup Series. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back on the other side with lots more green flag action. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss the end of Stage 1. welcome back here to the inaugural race of the Icon Cup Series. I'm Trevor Greenfield. So great to have you with us here. I'm joined in the booth by Christian Snyder. We're just over 20 laps done with this one. It's been such an interesting first race. Great racing at the front. We've already seen a couple of different leaders. And as we take a look there at the front, a couple more interesting points to point out. There you can see it on your screen. This is how the points will pay out for these drivers. 40 points for the top position, down to 40th place, paying 1 point. Race winner gets 3 points. Pole position gets a point. Lead a lap, lead most laps, fastest lap, they all get an extra point. Now the stage points is what everybody is racing for here in this first stage. That's going to be 8 points, 5 points, 3 points, 2 points, and 1 point. And another interesting way to get a couple of extra points, no incidents. Now that's really tough to pull off here, Christian, but I mean, it is possible, and that's really a cool thing to reward the clean drivers with something like that.
Yeah, I've always thought that leagues should incorporate something with that because, I always prided myself on having the least amount of incidents in all the leagues that I'm in. So it's definitely cool to see them award that for these guys, as we're going to see a restart with about 9 cars that stayed out on old tires. Let's see how they do as the green flag is back in the air, and oh, we got one spinning the tires into the grass.
Absolutely. That is Kyle Gilbert, I believe. No, in fact, I'm totally wrong. I'm trying to find out who that is. It's Jovi Ray, who has had that moment, and we're still staying green out there on the track, so not sure what to say for Jovi, but I'll try and get that re-going again. Meanwhile, back up front, it's Brian Smith, who, as you said, stuck it out there, did not come down and get tires, but these top drivers who chose not to come down and get tires, including Colley and Loria, they're going to be eaten up here really fast.
Yeah, they're on about, I would say, 20 lap old tires, so they should be eaten up pretty quick here. I think Cootie is the first guy with fresh tires. Oh, we got trouble. I think he's going to save it, though.
Well, Beckett Brown got way up into the wall there. You saw it in the back of the shot. Then he managed to bring it back down, and everybody just kind of ping-ponging off of each other like ping-pong balls out there.
Yeah, now that's going to allow Blade Timmons and Ronnie Norman to sneak by on the outside here of Beckett. Yeah, I believe Patty and Cootie are the ones on freshest tires here, and the top 3 are still on old tires, but Patty should be able to make quick work as he goes around Loria already, looking to now pass Coley as well.
Well, as they get this one wound up here on lap number 25, this is still some hot and heavy action at the front, side by side for the second spot between Patty and Colley. And it's still too close to call.
Second now.
Yeah, exactly. Now Patty has those fresh tires. Is he going to take better care of them? It doesn't look like he's trying to take care of anything. He's just going after it.
Well, I think he's trying to put as much of a gap between him and Cootie right now, which actually Cootie with an issue. Not sure exactly what happened to him, but now Norman, the next guy on fresh tires, Cootie fell the whole way back to 11th. So now Timmons and Norman side by side have the freshest tires behind them, but we got that stage break coming up. I think he's just running his tires as hard as he can to make sure that he gets that first stage win.
Well, the current order is Patty, Smith still on those old tires, Colley still on those old tires. Then you've got Blade Timmons, who's one of the first drivers to come in besides Patty and take on those fresh tires. Pretty much everyone else, Loria drifting all the way back now to 10th spot. So I think it's just a matter of time until we see Smith. And now we're seeing Colley getting eaten up as well. So these drivers behind really starting to come forward. There's Timmons into the second spot. Nathan Finnegan now into third. Brian Smith into fourth. So as we predicted, within just about 4 or 5 laps, those brand new tires starting to make all the difference in the world.
I mean, you got to give credit, though, to Brian Smith. He's still in 5th place. If he's able to hold it for a couple more laps, that would be good, but he is getting split 3 wide now. So it's better than where he was before the caution. So if he's able to stay in the top 20 and get those fresh tires, he'll have an extra set of tires at the end of this race.
Well, and again, you don't know how many other drivers are going to stay out there, so you're always taking a chance that you'll be able to take over the lead of the race and get a bonus point for leading the race for a lap. So that is always an opportunity. Justin Michael up 25 spots so far, and he did take tires. Cody Height on YouTube just in front of him in that number 17 Ford. He is up 19 spots so far. Having a fantastic run here tonight. And by the way,
battle for the lead.
It is a battle for the lead. Ryan Patty has got his mirror filled with Blade Timmons. Timmons taking a look to the outside. But now he seems to be moving a little bit further back, as now it's Finnegan who's going to take a look to the inside on Timmons.
Yeah, I don't think the outside is ready yet this early in the run. I think Nathan Finnegan going to easily pass Blade Timmons here. I think might get side by side with the leader. No, he gets loose.
Timmons tried to hold it down there on the low side. Indeed. He heard you talk, and he might have it playing on the side.
It's usually what happens with us. We start talking about somebody, and then something happens to them on track.
Well, this is one heck of a battle happening here at the front. Patty just doing everything he can to hang on to this lead, and what a group of cars that have emerged here at the front. We haven't seen anything like this recently with these NASCAR Next Gen machines. They usually get spread out fairly quickly, but we've got about 8 cars involved, 7 cars in this top group that are less than a second apart. Now it's 1, 2, 3, Patty Timmons and Ronnie Norman into that third spot in the number 18 machine. Just behind, you've got Cody Height for Harper Motorsports. So now we've got 3-wide battle for 5th place. Justin Michael, Nathan Finnegan, and Christopher Howell.
Loose.
Timmons loose again, and Norman now is going to try to take over 2nd place.
This is 7 cars under a blanket right now. This is incredible. Ronnie Norman with a big move on the outside of his teammate, Blade Timmons, trying to take 2nd. Then you got Cody Height behind him, also a teammate, trying to take 3rd away from Timmons now. But I think that's Justin Michael trying to take 4th.
Michael doing everything he can to take 4th. Why not? He's moved up 26 positions now. Michael having the race of his life. Right now looking at a potential top 5 in the very first race here in Icon. But take a look at who's emerging at the front. He may not be long to take over the top spot. It is Stormin' Ronnie Norman, who's now taking a look at the backside of Brian Patty's number 30 Chevy. And he's going to try everything he can on that inside line to try and steal the top spot.
And behind them, we're still 3 wide. They're still trying to figure it out for 5th. I mean, this is incredible. These guys have been 3 wide for, I think, 2 laps straight, as now Cody Height brushes the wall. I don't think that's going to be too detrimental to him, but now Michael, he gets into Cody Height, and around he goes through the grass. No caution yet. That's Michael and Christopher Howe going for a ride here. So far, no detrimental damage. I think these guys are going to get back into the race and be all right.
Unfortunately, as you see,
yet another car
getting down low. I believe that was Finnegan. Yes, it was. Getting down low on the front stretch, and it just goes to show you, if you get loose here at any point on this track, it could be detrimental, and no guaranteed yellow flags to try to get you back into this race. So it's every driver for themselves. As we see a driver down low there appears to be blowing his engine. Not sure if that's is it Blackburn that's having that problem? No, Blackburn a ways back here, trying to look and see exactly who that might be, but move it back up to the front, and Patty still in the lead here on lap number 37. Question is, will he be able to hold off Norman in time for stage 1 to hit? Just 2 more laps remain in order to be able to take the maximum amount of points here in that first stage.
Well, Ronnie's going to do everything he can to get by Ryan Patty here. But, you know, Ryan Patty's going to want to win that first stage for his league, so he's going to try everything to keep Ronnie behind him. As you can see, Ronnie going to use the inside lane here in 3 and 4, and I think his fan group that's out in turn 4 just were all on their feet whenever he was side by side with the leader. But here he comes going into 1. Let's see what lane he uses. See, he's going to go a half a lane underneath Ryan Patty so that he's not in that dirty air, and he's going to try to get a run off the corner, but now Patty sees that. He comes down half a lane and gives him that dirty air and makes him get tight.
Well, just one more lap remains.
He's going to send it
for Ronnie Norman to try to take this stage victory from Ryan Patty. Will he be able to do it? No, not able to do it there at the line. So we'll see the caution come out here in just a moment, but Patty able to get it done. We have to wait for them to throw that caution.
Patty in the wall.
Patty into the wall. Norman just managed to clip him, and I don't know. We haven't seen the stage caution thrown yet, so
I think it's at the completion of lap 40.
Completion of lap 40. Well, then that's a little different than we're used to here. So I guess Patty is going to have to settle for second after that, after a little door banging from Ronnie Norman.
Yeah, I think Ryan got a little bit too high, got into the wall a little bit, and Norman tried pulling down to avoid him, but just kind of tagged his quarter panel there and put him further into the wall. So we'll have to see if that damage affects Ryan Patty here late in this race.
Well, he took a shot to the side. I don't see any scrapes on the left-hand side of that machine, but the DeWalt Chevy led through much of that first stage, and he took a little rubbing on his side. Let's take a look at that, how this all went down here on this last lap. Watching out the back end of Ryan Patty.
Yeah, one more lap behind. Gonna go back. There it is. Here it is. We're gonna ride on board here, looking out back. He's gonna use the top lane. You can see Ronnie Norman getting a run here. Let's see if he makes contact at all, or no, he just gets a little high, and then Ronnie with nowhere to go gets into him and then kind of helps him into the wall a little bit more.
So I guess maybe not contact between Norman and Patty, but either way, quite a thrilling first stage here for the Icon Cup Series. And coming off of pit road, it's Brandon Cawley, who it says he didn't actually come into the pits, so I'm not quite sure how that's going to work.
He might have missed his box.
Indeed, that he may have just have gone straight through. But Ronnie Norman leads off of pit road once again. Ryan Patty going to be second. And Cody Height, as he's known on YouTube, Cody Height on YouTube, is going to be coming around in third. Well, I guess if he... It depends. Did Cawley miss his box, or did he do it intentionally? Maybe he wanted that extra bonus point, and he'll come back in here with 1 to go. In fact, that looks like what he's doing right now. 1 to go until the caution. So we're going to take a momentary break here on VirtualRacing.Network. Stay tuned. We'll be back with the very long second stage to come up and pull us to our conclusion of the inaugural race for Icon Cup Series. Stay tuned. welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. This is the inaugural Cup Series race for the Icon Cup Series, and so great to have you with us. The first stage was quite thrilling with Ronnie Norman taking the victory, and with Ryan Patty in second, and that's how they'll restart as we're now underway for stage number 2. And all over the back is Blade Timmons of Ronnie Norman. Ryan Patty on the inside, lining up behind Ronnie Norman, and he's now going to duck to the inside, 2 by 2, as we now go through turn number 3.
I think Ronnie's teammate Blade Timmons was bump drafting him down the backstretch there, trying to give Ronnie the lead over Ryan Patty, but that bottom is going to work pretty well right now because it's fresh tires, so Ryan trying to take advantage of that inside while it's still there.
Blade Timmons and Ryan Patty were side by side for just a moment, and now we're seeing a new driver come into this fray. I believe that's Kyle Gilbert starting to poke his nose up into this mix.
Yeah, we saw that 227 earlier get really loose and save it, and now he's back up here in the 4th spot with Cody Height underneath him, side by side, and then Ball behind him with Finnegan side by side with him.
There's that silver number 17 of Cody Height now coming forward on the inside, and he has got a lot to show for it. 21 positions already gained here tonight.
Every time I see that paint scheme, I want to call him Christopher Buescher out there. He's got that 17 Chris Buescher looking car. Really nice look for him as Ryan Patty into the wall again. Oh no.
Patty struggles here in the opening part of stage number 2, up into the wall, and now getting swallowed by the rest of the field. There's Finnegan trying to poke his nose underneath, and he'll get that position away from Patty. Patty now slides up the track, and we saw this in the last stage, and it looks like it's having a repeat here. That temperature really starting to get to some of these cars.
Yeah, I think also that right side damage that he got earlier coming to the stage end, I think is kind of making his car a little bit tighter as well. So he's just trying to run with a tight car right now because the toe could be a little bit bent in that right rear, so he could be dealing with that right now.
And the camera focus is now on Timmy Harper, who's managed to poke his nose up here in the top 10, now battling for that 6th position with Kyle Gilbert.
And trouble! Cootie!
It's Cootie around and into the inside wall in that Napa livery. Looks like he's going to get it, just able to save it from some heavy damage. And he'll get it going again here on lap number 50. He keeps it going, and we stay green.
Oh, he did keep it going. I think as soon as he got back on the throttle, though, he went back around. So unfortunate for Cootie there in the 9, but we have a big battle up here toward the front as Ronnie Norman has pulled away from these guys. Blade Timmons and Finnegan battling for second right now.
Well, Norman has moved out to about a 20 car length lead. This is some pretty incredible stuff considering what we saw in the first stage, but for how long, and is he wearing on the new off of those tires a little bit too long? As you see them trying to work their way around Cootie there, it's kind of an impediment, as it looks like he may have enough damage that it's really making him go slow. But there, Finnegan and Timmons up battling for that 2nd spot. You see Cody Height now has slotted into 4th, and Timmy Harper is now up into 5th, actually now taking that position away from Cody Height. And here comes Harper moving forward quickly, now up into that 3rd spot.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but did he not do some lawn care earlier in this race?
Well, you know, Timothy Harper has many talents, and one of them is lawn care, and he likes to sometimes do that during the middle of these races just to say, hey, I got it together again. Brian Smith, he almost tried to do some lawn care there a minute ago, taking it down to the apron and bringing it back. I don't think I've ever seen anybody almost lose it that far and then still be able to bring it back.
Yeah, that was a heck of a save right there for the 78 of Brian Smith. He's going to fall back, but no damage to that car. He's back in 14th now, as it looks like the 56 car is going underneath him there. Still getting used to names with numbers.
It's going to take a while, definitely, but Taking a look just ahead, this is Ronnie Norman. He seems to be wearing the front of this race like it's his. 2.45 seconds is that gap all the way back to Timothy Harper, and I think Harper is seizing the opportunity. Now taking a look underneath Timmons, he's going to try to take second.
Well, even though Timmons is Timmy's teammate, he is not
we've got a
just,
big wreck behind.
Crash.
That's
Adam
Adam Ball.
Be over. Oh, he didn't hold the brakes, and Mark Morton is involved.
Unfortunately, still collecting drivers, and as you said, I believe Morton also involved in that one. There you see the
Mark Martin scheme. Look at that.
The Mark Martin scheme. Of course, I see Kellogg's. I still think Terry Labonte, but that's maybe I'm dating myself there. But Mark Morton, unfortunately, getting caught up. So let's take a look here and see if we can tell what happened to Ball. I do see that Isaac Emerson was perhaps part of this first. So
you can already see what's happening there. Isaac gets loose, comes down into Ball, and just right hooks him into the wall. This is a real big hit. We are always thankful that we're not in real life racing, and this is just a sim, because that is a terrible angle to hit the wall. And then on up, you'll see that the 19, just unable to hold his brakes, lets the car roll backwards and then collects Mark Morton. Here it is again. He gets loose, turns him up and into the outside wall, and then you can see he's not on the brakes at all, just rolls down, collects Mark Morton.
Unfortunate for Morton. We'll take a look at it from Morton's point of view, as you're the team owner and might as well survey the damage while you can.
Yeah, I think this is going to be pretty significant damage here. As you can see, he's slowing down, and this 19 just comes down right into him.
He missed
Couldn't
one,
avoid it.
And then it looked like the 13 also had to take evasive action and got down into the inside wall. So Morton...
Yeah, something I always preach whenever I run teams. I tell them, whenever you're wrecking, hold the brakes, because you don't want to ruin someone else's race just because yours is ruined. And typically when you let go of those brakes, you roll into someone else. So that's an unfortunate way for Mark Morton to have his first race end.
So a number of these drivers now taking on service on pit road. We're under our second caution of the day, and it's been a phenomenal run so far, especially for Ronnie Norman. Obviously, no surprise for anybody who's been watching here on VirtualRacing.Network. Norman taking multiple victories over in the NORA Cup Series, and always a great competitor in the Cup and Truck Series, and up in the championship points over there as well. But to see him out front in front of such a stacked field over here in Icon, this is some pretty amazing stuff, and a great way for him to kick off this Icon Cup Series season. Now, of course, we saw also the owner of the Icon Cup Series, Ryan Patty. He was up there in the lead for quite a few laps. Unfortunately, kind of showcasing what happens if you abuse those tires, or if you get caught out by this temperature. Bring up with that temperature there on your screen. You can see it on the right-hand side, 127 degrees on the track, and it's known as Hot Atlanta for a reason, Christian.
Glad we got air conditioner up in the booth. My goodness.
Exactly correct. We spare no expense for our commentators' comforts here, but unfortunately, even a cool suit is not going to save these drivers down there on the track. Once again, great to have all of you with us over in the YouTube chat room. Make sure to say hello. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. We've got a couple of great fans. Steven Dombrowski, he's keeping it going there in the chat room. We certainly appreciate it. And, of course, part of that Ronnie Norman fan club, and rooting on Norman as he tries to take the victory here in this inaugural race for the Icon Cup Series. But also Josh Conover. That is Josh, the great Josh, who has also won in the NORA Cup Series and NORA Truck Series. Of course, Josh, the owner over there in that series, and great to have him enjoying this race. Hope everybody is enjoying it. And, of course, we'll be back in action with the NORA Truck Series tomorrow night right here on VirtualRacing.Network. You won't want to miss it. So once again, if you're not already a subscriber, smash that subscribe button and give us a like too if you can. Give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying it. And certainly looking forward to a great rest of the season. We'll be having the full schedule up here on your screen for you so you can set your calendar as well. But we've also got the whole season plugged in here on YouTube. So if you subscribe, you'll get notified of all the upcoming races. So it's that easy. But we're going to be restarting here on lap number 59 with Blade Timmons and Ronnie Norman going to be on the front row of this one. Nathan Finnegan and Timmy Harper going to be on the next row, and I think Ryan Patty may still have something to say about this before too long. He's going to be starting back there in 5th. Here we go again, Ronnie Norman back to the green flag here at Hotlanta.
And you can see his teammate Tim Harper, who started in 3rd, got a real good start as well. And his teammate Cody Height behind him going to take 3rd from another teammate, Blade Timmons. So all 4 of the Harper Motorsports guys, as we see trouble in the back. That's the 56 car.
Well, Timmons did not get a great start, and we're still wrecking back here. That's Cody Neal, and I believe, is that Brian Smith?
That is the 78 of Brian Smith, yeah. He had that great save earlier that put him back in the field further than he wanted to, and now you can see what causes or what happens from that whenever you have to restart toward the rear.
Well, let's back it up here and take a look at what happened. This will be from Brian Smith, and we can take a look overhead, see if we can tell.
I think we got to go further back. They were wrecking the entire straightaway, I believe.
And indeed, they're getting into each other pretty heavily. We got a 3-car.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wrecking going on there.
It starts a little ahead of this with the 56, so we'll have to see what exactly happens here. So you see, looks like the 67 gets loose, just barely tags the 56 there of Cody Neal, and then everyone checking up trying to avoid it. You see that they just stay side by side, then Cody gets involved. Oh, he's been having a rough night here. But that's about 4 or 5 cars involved in that one.
That was a long time wrecking.
Yeah.
That was it was like you said, they were working on that one for about a half a lap. Let's take a look here as we catch.
Yeah, that started with Vincent Loria. He was the one that got loose on the outside, and usually this happens, but he doesn't have much damage on that car. So he started this one, but has the least amount of damage in that wreck. That happened again with another car getting loose out of turn 2, and you know, with this banking, it's hard to get going there. We saw Brian Smith trying to get going, but this is a pretty steep banking there. But definitely not the way that those guys wanted their night to possibly end. I think most of them will be able to continue, but some of them have taken it behind the wall.
So a number of drivers now sitting on pit road, including Andrew Cody, Mike Jennings just coming off of pit road, Jacob Smith, another driver to come down and receive service here, Cody Neal, part of that incident just a moment ago, bringing out our 3rd caution for an incident on the track. And you know, as they say, caution's precaution, so
That they do.
Hopefully that is not the case here, and we'll be back underway and back under green. Now, we should point out again, Ronnie Norman had opened up a 2.4 second advantage over the rest of the field, and that was just a few laps ago. So this is obviously not what Norman wanted to see happen. He wanted to keep streaking along. You know, Norman also not really known for his hyper-aggressive strategies or anything. He's kind of known for preserving his tires and making his runs over the long run and being able to overcome heat, temperature issues. But I think that's part of it, is that his driving style really does do well when you've got a hot track and you really have to manage your tires, manage the car through the corners. Other drivers may be having issues, but that's exactly the type of race that Ronnie Norman excels at.
Yeah, I've been racing with Ronnie for onwards of like 12 years now, and he's always that guy that just races everyone with respect and clean. So definitely not the aggressive type, and that kind of it works out for these hot slick tracks, like you said. You know, you can't be like on the throttle too much. You want to ease into it, and that's how he drives. So these type of tracks are right in his wheelhouse.
Well, Ronnie Norman, part of this NORA contingent that has come over to try to win here in the Icon Cup Series, as well as Timothy Harper, who's sitting in second place, his teammate over at Harper Motorsports, Cody Height. They're in fourth place as well, and Blade Timmons. That is 4 of 4 drivers, part of that Harper Motorsports team, up in the top 5. Ryan Patty, the owner of the Icon Cup Series, looking on there in the 6th spot, just trying to figure out what he can do here for the end of this race, as we're just under 50 laps, about 46 more laps to go this time by. And these drivers going to have to deal with this heat. It's not going to cool down. You're not going to get saved by the bell with the lights coming on and everything getting cold on the track. I mean, you're going to have to deal with this heat. So who can stand the heat the best?
Well, we have a single file restart. I haven't seen that much, and now these guys are going to have to go 2-3 wide going into the turns, because these restarts are the only times that you can really gain positions. As we can see, a couple of the cars trying the outside. I believe that is Timmons, the first one trying the outside here to make it work in turn 1 and 2.
Well, Ronnie Norman easily back out in front. Timmy Harper holding on to second and he's right behind with Finnegan holding on there in third place. So Finnegan gaining 7 spots here so far tonight, doing a fabulous job. Cody Height himself hanging on in the 4th spot, up 20 positions. And Blade Timmons in 5th place. He's actually dropped a position from where he qualified, but he's been up front in that top 5 all night long. Some other drivers really getting into it out there. I want to say it wasn't Slagle. It looked like Loria having a moment there just a second ago with Colley and Tanner Dio, almost getting all 3 of those drivers involved in a wreck. But so far, clean. And they'll continue on. Looking a little bit further back, this is Evan Patinko. He's gained 10 spots. He's up into 18th place, but he's got a long ways to go to get up there towards that top 5 and possibly be able to do something else tonight, like take over. Oh, we've got Ronnie Norman in the wall. Big incident with Ronnie Norman, and it almost looked like Timothy Harper got into him.
And we'll have to see exactly what happened there coming out of 4.
This is a replay here. We're going to watch this one as it unfolded. Unfortunately, a little difficult to pinpoint the exact moment of some of these things. So they were racing side by side off of 2 and down the backstretch. Looks like Timothy Harper slotted in behind, and look at it overhead. Looked like Norman getting up very high in the corner, and he just gets loose.
Yeah.
So once again, no incident caused by contact. It was just this hot temperature. I guess the commentator's curse. I guess it finally got and broke Ronnie Norman.
Yeah, and that allows now Tim Harper to be the leader of this race with Nathan Finnegan right behind him. And Finnegan, one of the administrators for this league, so he's having a good run in his in the first race for Icon.
Absolutely.
In that 6 Chevrolet.
Yeah, and Finnegan, just a big part of the Icon series. Very vocal, very welcoming to other drivers, and it's always great to see those who are the most involved with the series, with the leagues, getting a chance to be up there in front and kind of reap some reward for doing that. But it's also amazing to see Timmy Harper up there in front as well, because, we were talking ahead of the broadcast, and Timothy Harper very excited about this Icon Cup Series and getting his Harper Motorsports four cars up here into the Icon Series. And You know, Timothy, he goes out there and he does social media posts on Facebook before each and every event for Harper Motorsports. So if you're into that kind of thing, go ahead and follow Harper Motorsports over on Facebook. But he's super excited as well, and I can tell you right now, there is a grin from ear to ear in that number 12 machine.
Yeah, he enjoys coming out here, finding new leagues to run, and he was excited about this one. He saw that there was a lot of talent, and he wanted to push himself and see, as we see Cody Height going around almost, he saves it. But to continue where I was, you know, Tim Harper, he thought maybe he could possibly win the debut, and right now he's got 50 laps away from that as he's in the lead, as we see Cody Height dropping like a rock through the field here. 3 wide, 2 wide, passing him here. So a little trouble for Harper Motorsports, number 17.
Well, and that's just how quickly it can fade away from you. So he'll have to try to get it back together and see if he can make another charge up towards the front. Either way, Cody Height getting up there in the top 5 for quite a long time. I'll tell you what, there's a couple new names that are now up in the top 5. Jamie Leigh Dunning, now up into 4th place in his Toyota. The number 54 there, now trying to hold on to that spot as Kyle Gilbert has now also come forward. And Jamie Leigh Dunning is actually now racing side by side up in front with Blade Timmons. So that is for the 3rd spot.
And we see Justin Michael, who had an incident earlier. He's back up into the top 6 right now, and as he moves into the top 5. I've raced with him before in the past, and he's a good driver, and now he finds himself in the top 5.
Well, racing for that Average Joe Motorsports team out of West Virginia, I believe it is.
In Berkeley Springs, West Virginia.
Indeed.
Because he gets real loose under the 227 of Gilbert there. He gathers it back up. He's going to make another run for it here in 3 and 4. Not going to work, but on back behind them, you see Brendan Jenks coming back into this thing. He's back in the top 10. Also had a moment earlier. So some of these guys that wrecked earlier in the race coming back up through the field, as now Loria too, also involved in a wreck earlier. He's back in the top 10.
Unbelievable that some of these drivers able to come back through, and now you can see even more side-by-side action. There's just side-by-side action throughout this entire field. It's pretty hard to keep track, honestly. But up here at the front, we see Harper
in the wall.
Up into that wall, and he's going to straighten it out, but not before Nathan Finnegan pokes his nose up into the front. He'll get credit for leading a lap here in the Icon Cup Series.
We'll see if Harper's able to get a run here in 1 and 2 on that outside to defend. But I think Nathan Finnegan going to clear him off the corner, and we got a new leader here, Nathan Finnegan.
Nathan Finnegan to the front here in the Icon Cup Series. Here comes Timothy Harper to respond back to the overtake from
close.
Finnegan, and it's side by side. Only a paper's width between them at this point.
I don't know if that's going to hurt or help Timmy side drafting him back like that. He's going to get a run here in 1 and 2. He's got to go lower than that. He's got a slide job if he wants to complete this pass. He's going to be side by side still here on the backstretch. See how aggressive he side drafts, as he's going to fall in behind Nathan Finnegan there in 2nd.
Well, they have been going at it here at the front for a couple of laps, but it does look like Finnegan able to pull out into the lead by a couple of car lengths over Harper. We'll see whether or not he can hold on to the lead, as we've seen a number of these drivers able to do it for just a couple of laps and then start seeing a new driver into their rearview mirrors. But it looks like Harper got quite high on that last lap, so it's going to be easier said than done, as now Finnegan marches out to about a 5 or 6 car length lead.
Yeah, now Harper having company behind him here. That's the 54 of Jamie Leigh Dunning, as he is pulling inside of Tim Harper.
Dunning now pulls to the inside. He's going to try to slice down and take that position. He does, up into the 2nd spot for Dunning. You can see more drivers still battling it out. That's Vincent Loria. He was involved in an incident not long ago, but here he is back in 5th place, now into 4th place. He's got that number 67 Toyota really cooking around Old Atlanta.
Yeah, he's underneath Blade Timmons right now trying to complete the pass, but here comes the 00 trying to make it 3 wide. That's the 00, Jovi Ray.
Jovi Ray now going to try to take it 3 wide through the corner. I don't know if that's advisable as there's only so much room. But
trouble! A yellow car back there toward the back got real loose, but he saved it. Ooh, that was almost big. That's 3 wide still up here at the front.
3 wide indeed, and
we've
got
Justin Michael. Contact.
And it looks like Howell had a momentary coming together, but they managed to keep it going. It was Michael and Howell who almost bought the farm on that one. Up in the front, it's Finnegan who continues to lead, but now Jamie Lee Dunning is starting to close that gap. So as we start to get to the tail end of this race, this is now just 49 laps remaining here, and the strategy is starting to get played out as these green flag runs really start to expose who can take care of their tires and who can't. I'll tell you what, we've got 3 Toyotas now in the top 5.
Yeah, Toyota kind of having a good run here out at Atlanta. Chevrolet leading it though, and then Ford's behind them, but Toyota making their names known out here.
Dunning, Jovi Ray, and Loria holding on to those spots, but here comes Jovi Ray down to the inside on Dunning.
And that all started in turn 3 and 4, setting him up and getting a good run off the corner. He's able to clear Jamie Lee Dunning now for 2nd place.
So move Ray up into that 2nd spot. He's gained 13 positions here tonight. There's just one more to go, I think, on Ray's wish list. See whether or not he can line up Finnegan for one strong shot down on the low side, because we really haven't seen the high side able to work, though you see Finnegan trying to hold that high side. Here comes Ray with no problems down to the low side. I think he's going to try to take that position. Nope. Finnegan able to just get that run off of the high side, so the high side run off the corner still working, but you see how that lower groove through the corners is working. And Christian, I think it's just a matter of time here.
I don't think it's a matter of time. I think it's happening right now. Here comes Jovi Ray. He's going to take the lead here in 1 and 2 if he runs the bottom. And new leader, Jovi Ray in the 00 Aaron's Dream Machine.
Well, I think, when you try to, you say, I'm going to take the high side, it's live by the sword, die by the sword. If it just doesn't pay off in the middle of the corner like it has not been, you got one of these drivers who's able to hold the low line and make this fixed setup do what it needs to do, and there Jovi Ray able to hold the low line, and he's going to get credit for leading a lap here in the Icon Cup Series.
Yeah, early in the race, I was thinking that the outside lane would be the place to be throughout the late end of the stages here, or runs, I should say. But Jovi Ray proved me wrong. That inside working really well.
Well, we take a look a long ways back there, and that's Ronnie Norman, who's all the way back into 17th place. So he was up there towards the front. You see just a couple of positions there in front. That's Cody Height. He's managed to recover there to 15th place, but they've got a long ways to come back forward. Timothy Harper just battling with Ryan Patty back in 11th and 12th place, and Brendan Jenks for Full Send Esports now. That number 38 is back in 10th, but still a lot more racing to go here. Blade Timmons has recovered back to 8th place, and as we take a look at the front, Jovi Ray now opening up a 7/10 of a second, about a 10-car length lead over Nathan Finnegan. So
we got a battle for 3rd. It looks like Loria and Dunning battling here.
Dunning absolutely trying everything he can to hold on to that 3rd spot, but Loria has been coming on like a freight train And it's just a matter of time. Here comes Loria trying to steal that position.
On a little bit too high there in 3 and 4. That checked them up a little bit. So looks like Jamie Lee Dunning going to easily keep third here. But Vincent going to try getting a run back together. What he's got to do is just go on the outside, commit, get that run off, and then use the bottom in the next corner. We'll see if he does that here. Oh, no, he gets into the wall.
Well, of course.
That's our third broadcast curse there. I tell you.
I was just going to say. It's almost as though they're watching on the side and they hear their name and it's like, oh, what do I do now? But Vincent Loria pulls it back together there and running.
Coley going to take fourth now.
Absolutely. Coley able to steal that fourth place. And remember, Coley started this race up there in the top 5. So Coley just kind of coming back to where he started. Dunning up in front, currently running in third place. He started in 6th. So these drivers with a lot of speed, they just had some unfortunate start to this race and kind of drifted a little bit further back. But now starting to come up towards the front.
Oh,
and now we've got Finnegan.
A pit stop.
Finnegan.
We got green flag pit stop starting.
Absolutely.
Oh, that might be speeding right there. He came in pretty hot on the entry. But I think these guys may be able to make it to the end of the race here by pitting. I think it's about maybe, I would say, 35 to 40 laps on fuel. So I think they should be good to the end now.
Well, in the meantime, that's going to allow Jovi Ray to continue. And
he's going to come in this time. You can see him slowing down here. Oh, maybe not. Just a slow corner there. I thought he was slowing down. This is the time that you need to pit. You need to pit early so that these guys don't get that momentum with the new tires. So the longer he's going to stay out here, the more track position that I believe it was the 6 is going to get on him.
So Jovi last lap was a 32.85. Best lap was a 31.64. So definitely with the undercut strategy, now we see Blade Timmons with Brandon Jinks now coming into the pits. They're going to take on their new tires and fuel for the end of this race. But certainly Jovi still staying out there, going to try to do his best to get those clean air laps and not have any sort of pressures of other cars around him. He's got a 2.2 second lead over Colley, so no issues there. We're going to see also Cameron King making his pit stop as well. But it's Ray, Colley, Dunning, Loria, and Howell. That's your top 5 right now on lap number 94.
Oh, trouble for the 6. He did get a penalty and had to be held in his stall. So he lost a lot of ground.
So Nathan Finnegan, he does come back out. He's currently in 21st, a lap down. We'll have to see how this all shakes out after this round of pit stops. But unfortunately, that number 6 machine has incurred some difficulty that he didn't have before he came into the pits, and that is going to set him back. Cody Height and Brad Slagle now into the pits as well. They're pitting from a little bit outside the top 10. And now Jovi Ray not racing this car for position at all. But sooner or later, we're going to see Ray making that pit stop. Last time by a 33.29 to Colley's 32.89, 33.01 last time. So this is just, I would have to say that this is going to kill Ray's opportunity to come back out in the lead.
Yeah, it's not going to destroy his chances of winning, but he's not going to be the leader when he comes back out. You got to get into the pits here soon. I don't know if I like this strategy call. I'll be honest there, Trevor.
Well, it's I don't think it's a fuel related thing, so I'm not really sure why Jovi is continuing to stay out there. With the number of different leaders that we've seen, I don't know how many laps because we don't get that sort of a tally, but it would be nice to know if he's just trying to stay out there to try and get the most laps led before he has to make that pit stop. But It's a tough call, and Ray still staying out there yet another lap. Last lap a 33.05, and he's not the only one. Brandon Cawley, Jamie Lee Dunning, Vincent Loria, all in the 33s. Christopher Howell now making his pit stop. Justin Michael into the pits as well. Evan Patinko just completing his pit stop.
Yeah, there are 7 cars that still have not pit, and those guys are all your top 7 there on the left side of the screen, have not made their pit stops yet.
I'll put the track map up there for you. You can tell where your favorite driver is by locating their initials on that track map. But watch for Ray to come in here within another lap or two. And he just, every lap that he does is basically hurting. Because if we take a look back here, this is Brendan Jenks running for that Full Send Esports team. And his last lap was a 31.81. That's 1.2 seconds faster. And here comes Ray into the pits. Must have finally gotten the word, it's time.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised Jenks is as high as he was, because I believe he pitted from 10th place, and now he should be the leader when this round of pit stops cycles out.
He might well be, in fact. So, you know, that fantastic strategy team over there at Full Send Esports really making some great calls, as we see Isaac Emerson doing battle with Ryan Patty, but Patty was a lap down as he already pitted, and now Isaac Emerson, although he's leading part of that contingent that's doing over 33-second laps out there. So Jennings and Cody Eldred as well running in that 3rd spot. And those 3 drivers still yet to pit, but you're right, it is going to be Brendan Jenks who is going to take over the lead once these 3 pit.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to him after the race and see what he did, see what his secrets are, because I do not know if maybe he took 2 tires, no tires. I don't know.
Well, he came.
But we see a big moment there, 56. Whew.
And we also see that Isaac Emerson did just decide to make that pit stop. There's Cody Height and Mike Jennings. Mike Jennings going to get credit for leading a lap here before he makes his pit stop, but Jenks did come in on lap number 92. Now, of course, that means that he's got a little bit older of tires than everybody else, so with everyone else's is still a little bit fresher, he's going to be dealing with some expiring tires. But it does mean that he got that little advantage by undercutting the rest of the competition and being able to get the time advantage. So by at least several seconds, going to be getting an advantage there. Cody Eldred, as I mentioned, 7 seconds back, still not having made his pit stop, Jennings and Eldred. And of course, you know, the yellow flag could come out and kind of allow them to get in and get their tires and get back out there and, you know, perhaps, you know, still stay in the top 10 if others do come in to take fresh tires, which they would at this stage. So it's not a terrible strategy call, but if that yellow flag does not come out, it's going to catch Jennings and Eldred out pretty severely, and definitely will allow Jenks and Ray to be right there racing for the lead.
Yeah, at this point, Jennings and Eldred, their only hope is a caution right now. If a caution doesn't come out, they will end up being 1 lap down by the end of this race.
Well, about a half a lap is the gap between Jennings and Jenks, about 15 seconds or so. And so we just await Jennings to be able to pit. Last time a 33.87, so every single lap it's getting slower and slower for Jennings and Eldred. And as you just said, Christian, this is not looking good for Jennings and Eldred. Each lap they stay out there, they're just kind of praying for a yellow flag to come out at the moment. But Jenks, on the other hand, as we see Jennings up into the wall.
That little contact with the wall. He's going to continue to stay out there. He wasn't able to get in that time because there was a car coming to his low side, but I think we're going to see Mike Jennings pull into the pits within the next 3 laps, I would say.
Well, Eldred finally had enough. Driver out of Charlotte, North Carolina, finally gonna make his pit. The Detac House of Speed. Jennings still staying out there, but Jenks now closing in, even without Jennings making a pit stop. Jenks now just only 12 seconds back. And there you can see Jovi Ray about 1.5 seconds back from Jenks. So still a battle on for that top spot. Jovi Ray with 7-lap newer tires than Jenks. And Jamie Lee Dunning just behind with 1 lap older tires than Ray. So those two just about the same on the age of their tires. But hey, he's back. Ryan Patty in the 5th position, soon to be 4th position when Jennings pits. He's back in it, and I don't see any of those drivers for the Harper Motorsports team that were doing so well earlier. I don't see any of them knocking on the door of the top 5. The closest one would be Cody Height back in 9th place.
Yeah, and we've seen that happen before in Nora where they race. They're always up front, but just can never seal the deal to get those wins. And unfortunately, here in the Icon Series, also having those demons in their closet.
Well, it can look one way partway through the race, even up to the stage. You could win a stage, but it's another thing to win the entire race. And certainly, it's amazing, different complexion as we now see. Jovi Ray able to take the position from Jenks. So what's happened to Jenks?
Well, Jenks is on a lot older tires, and Jovi has those fresher tires and was able to run Jenks down. But this is still a smart move for Jenks because he was in 9th or 10th, and now once Jennings comes in, he'll be in 2nd place. And as long as he doesn't fall too far back through the field as we hit 20 to go here, I don't think he'll be in too much trouble.
As you mentioned, it is in fact 20 laps to go next time by, and our 20 laps to go segment brought to you by Snyder Graphics, who's got a few great paint jobs in the field here tonight. That Snyder Graphics, they do custom wraps. Anything you can imagine, for the most part, they can do it over at Snyder Graphics. You see them right there, facebook.com. Head on over and check them out, facebook.com/Snyder Graphics. Get your car wrapped, and I'm pretty sure that if we take a look over at that Brendan Jenks car, that's going to be having one of those cool Snyder Graphics machine liveries on it.
Yeah, indeed. The 38 does have a Snyder Graphics scheme, as well as the 5. And someone who wasn't able to make it tonight, the 24 of Hersey, was unable to make the race, but his scheme, we'll see that in a few weeks. But these guys, they hit me up, wanted a paint scheme, wanted to run for me, so got some good looking cars out there.
So definitely, it's always great to know somebody who can do that for you. You dream it up and you want it done, and somebody that you can send it to over at Snyder Graphics. Christian Snyder doing an awesome job over in Nora, and now expanding out into the greater NASCAR-osphere. So if you need anything done, facebook.com/Snyder Graphics. And always great to have you sponsoring our 20 to go segment here, Christian.
Happy to be the sponsor, but look, if we're looking out on track right now, Jenks actually not falling off as much as I thought he would. I thought Dunning and Michael would be able to catch him here, but so far it kind of seems like it's evening out, like maybe the tires are at that point where it's not too bad a fall off for him.
Well, we'll take a look here at this time delta, and you can see it's actually pretty consistent. It's been about a half a second or so recently that gap has been growing. Now it's 1.54 seconds back, and this is quite a great run for Ray. I mean, if he can keep it going here, it does look like he is possibly cruising towards victory with just 17 laps to go. But Jamie Lee Dunning holding on there in 3rd place, as you can see. And Justin Michael in 4th. Ryan Patty up into that 5th spot. It's finally this side-by-side insanity has finally started to settle down. It has been crazy here, but now it looks like Vincent Loria is back in the mix here, up in the top 6, and we just jumped a little bit further back. This is a side-by-side battle, at least it was just a second ago, between Evan Patinko and Kevin Gunther. This is for that 7th spot, so still some of these spots still being decided out here. And it's just a matter of time here before we're now at 15 laps to go before we see some of these drivers take the last shot that they've got. Perhaps they've got something up their sleeve. I mean, we had a bunch of cautions kind of equally spread out over the first part of this race, Christian, but it's been interesting to watch it unfold here in the back half because we've had a long green flag stretch here, and so these drivers that are more skilled in handling their cars and their tires over the length of these stretches doing a significantly better job. And as we start to see it stretch out a little bit, some of these drivers may be holding on to just a little bit for the end of this race.
Yeah, and I think a couple of those people are holding on for the end of the race. You know, Jamie Lee Dunning, Justin Michael, Ryan Patty. They're slowly but surely reeling in Jenks and Ray, but there's just not enough time left in the race to narrow that gap the whole way to catch Jovi Ray, but definitely maybe holding some stuff back to gain up on Jenks.
Now that's Dunning trying to put a lap on Cody Eldred. At the moment, Eldred holding on pretty darn well. I know Eldred had a lot of high hopes here for this initial race of the Icon Cup Series tonight, but unfortunately getting caught up in a couple of incidents and dropping a little bit further back. Here's another battle that's happening a little ways back. This is still a three-way battle here between the 052.
Well, there was a car that got real loose there. Not sure who that was.
I believe that might have been Brad Sagal.
Brad Sagal.
Brad
in the 052.
So Slagle in the 052 machine was just up there and battling for that top 10 spot. And again, I know it's so difficult to say on the very first race of the very first season for the Icon Cup Series, but every point matters. Yes, you get some drop weeks, but Christian, top 10, top 5, these are magical numbers to ensuring your way up into the playoffs and trying to get the regular season championship. If you want to do that, you have got to get top 10s, you've got to get top 5s. It's the only way if you're not going to be able to go out there and win a race. So thinking consistently and thinking about top 10s, that's where you want to be, and that's why these drivers are fighting so hard even just for a top 10 spot.
And as a team owner myself, you know, with my driver sitting in second, that's basically a win for him. I mean, that's, you know, you want to gain as many points as you can. He's led a lap. He's got that bonus point. He was involved in an incident earlier, so he's not going to get those 2 bonus points. But we'll have to see how many points he's able to accumulate for this race. Not going to be able to do full time this season, he said, but we'll see how many races he's able to do and if he's going to be able to get into the playoffs.
Well, it might change his mind being in second place here. Certainly if he had won, that would punch his ticket, but knowing that he's doing this well here to start the season is always a good thing. Here we see Vincent Loria making the pass on Ryan Patty. That is for 5th place, racing side by side here with just under 10 to go.
Trying to make it happen here. 67 working the inside on Ryan Patty there. I'm not sure if it's going to work here. He's going to try to clear himself and will. Ryan Patty going to work back on the inside, but not going to be able to get there.
That door shuts, and Patty's had a great run here tonight. Driver out of Massachusetts, just being able to get into a top 5, now top 6 position. After leading several of the laps, it almost looked like for a bit there that Patty was going to run away with this thing. But after several drivers able to chew into that lead and make the pass. It seems like Patty has kind of had to settle for a top 5 car instead, but either way, like I said, looking at a top 5 or a top 10 to start the season, that is the way that you want to go. That consistency always being rewarded in the long run. And so we see another driver getting very loose back there. That's been just a frequent thing here. So we see it's Patinko who's actually running in that 7th spot. I thought it might have been a lap car, but Patinko still holding on and able to be in 7th right now after getting it loose there. One of our independent drivers in the field. Now we can see this battle continues to rage on between Loria and Patty.
There's about to be another battle for second, too. Jamie Lee Dunning has caught Brendan Jenks now, and let's see if Jamie Lee is able to get around Brendan.
Well, and this is just a few laps difference. There's only 6 laps difference on those tires, but certainly Jenks had to use a lot of those tires to try to get up there into those top spots and try and race as hard as he could to try to take over the lead, which he certainly did on that pit stop cycle. But now kind of paying the price, just as we've seen some of these other drivers paying the price for going up there and using their tires too much. Under 5 laps remain, though, for your leader, Jovi Ray. So just 4 more clicks around Old Hot Atlanta. And we see Jenks just able to hold on, but for how much longer? Here comes Dunning on the low side. And it looks like Dunning is going to get it done. He slices up in front of Brendan Jenks. Jenks now settling back for a podium position there in 3rd. And good news is for him, he's got a huge gap behind him of about 7 seconds.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. It was going to be smarter to just let Jamie Lee by and just finish 3rd, because, I mean, it is, 1 extra point for finishing 2nd. But at this point, with that big of a gap behind you, you don't want to race too hard and lose ground. So smart move by Brendan Jenks to let Jamie Lee by.
Well, as this one starts to wind down, just 3 laps to go for Jovi Ray, who took over the lead here in the 2nd stage and has not looked back, managing to overtake Brendan Jenks and right on past the initial race leader of Ryan Patty. Of course, the other Harper Motorsports teammates have kind of drifted to the back. Got Cody Height back in 10th place. He's so far the top driver out of that gang. Timmy Harper back in 20th place and Ronnie Norman back in 22nd. And that was pretty much all we were talking about early on. The other teammate of Full Send Esports, Mark Morton, has finished out the race back in 27th position. And that leads a whole string of drivers that have already retired out of this race. Starting from about 25th on back, that's Blade Timmons, who's the first driver that is out of the race there. But Jamie Lee Dunning also having a fantastic race in 2nd place, and Brendan Jenks hanging on there in 3rd, and still may have something to say about that 2nd spot. But it's Jovi Ray who takes the win here at Hot Atlanta, the old Atlanta Motor Speedway. Congratulations to Ray, and Jamie Lee Dunning hanging on to 2nd place by just 9/100ths of a second over Brendan Jenks.
And I tell you what, if you're Ryan Patty and these administrators, having, I believe it's 24 cars finish this race out of the, I believe, 38 that started, that's impressive. And this was a fantastic race, only a few cautions, so they got to be really proud of this debut for this league.
Absolutely fantastic race here, and Jovi Ray brings it down onto the start-finish straightaway. We're going to step aside for just a moment. We'll be right back here on VirtualRacing.Network with your final results and a chance to chat with our top 3. Stay tuned. welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. You saw it live here, the very first race of the Icon Cup Series, round number 1 from the 2008 version of Atlanta Motor Speedway. It was a very interesting race filled with lots of different racing action over the course. So much side-by-side racing. At times it was very difficult to even say what was going on, because before you could, other drivers were already making passes, but it was exciting to say the least. Jovi Ray ending up taking victory here on VirtualRacing.Network by a sizable margin, 4.44 seconds, over Jamie Lee Dunning. And third place, Brendan Jenks, taking a great podium position in their start here for the Icon Cup Series. With that, we're going to get a chance to go ahead and chat with the top 3 finishers here in the Icon Cup Series for this very first race. And I think we've had a chance to catch up with our third place finisher, Brendan Jenks.
Yeah, I was able to catch up here. Brendan Jenks, you finished third in the debut for Icon League. It was a real long race for you there, and strategy gets you out front for a little bit. So tell us how that race went for you.
Oh man, that was so much fun. Yeah, I mean, when I came into the pits under that green flag run, I don't know where I was. I mean, not first, that's for sure. And when I came back out, I noticed that the only 2 people in front of me hadn't pit. So I was like, well, okay. So I just kind of focused up and tried to stay smooth. And when Jovi started catching up to me, I knew I had nothing for him. So he went by, and then I had a good fight with Jamie. But that was an awesome race and a great finish.
Well, earlier in the race, we saw you involved in a little bit of an incident, so you were able to rebound for a top 3. The track, it seemed like everyone was having difficulties off of turn 2, so how was the track for you tonight?
It was definitely loose. I saw a lot of people running in the middle or at the top for most of the race, but I pretty much stuck to the bottom the whole time. And yeah, I got caught up in that incident. And to be honest with you, I thought the caution came out for like 3 laps. I was running around looking for the pace car, and then I go, there's no caution out. And I just was like, all right, time to stay on the lead lap, and just kept going. But no, I thought my race was over, and just fixed a little bit of damage I had a lot less than I thought. Kept going. Turned out okay, I guess.
I mean, congrats on the podium here tonight. Before we let you go, anyone you want to give a shout out to or thank?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I gotta thank my family's always watching, so shout out to them. And gotta thank Ronnie Norman. He got me into this league and got me in with you guys, so big shout out to him. I saw he was running up front for a lot of the race. I was hoping to catch up and fight with him, but I'm not sure exactly what happened to him. And shout out to you, my team owner. It's bringing me in here, giving me a ride. It's been a lot of fun my first week, and I'm hoping to keep her going.
All right, well, we got a few more races, obviously, to go, and you said you were doing part-time, so not sure if you're racing next week, but if you are, good luck next time you're out here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm hoping to be here. I work on an ARCA team in IRL, so we're going to Iowa this next coming weekend, so I'm hoping I can get back in time, but we'll see.
Well, we'll be happy to see you if you are out here next week. Congrats again on the podium, and good luck next time you're here.
Thank you.
Trevor, were you able to catch up with Jamie Lee?
And Jamie Lee Dunning, fantastic run today. This was something else to watch you march through the field here. We were trying to track with you the entire race, but of course, it wasn't your name that we were calling in the first half. It seemed like it took these long green flag runs to really give you a chance to show what you can do. Talk us through your race, and congratulations on taking second place here in the inaugural Icon Cup Series race.
First and foremost, thank you guys. It was a tough race for me. First caution, I got unsafe pit entry, which made me go to the back, and that's not where I wanted to be. It was just a finagle of cars trying to get around each other, a lot of 3 wide, 4 wide, beating and banging, and it was no place for me to be. I just ran my line, and if I had to put a nose people, that's what I had to do, and it worked out in the long run. the green flag runs helped me out a lot. I mean, and I am very surprised on how this race was, and I congratulate everybody for how well this race was. It was like what, 4, maybe 5 cautions at most, with 39 cars in the field. So that was a great turnaround for the inaugural race here.
Well, and it was a great field, a stacked field, lots of great talent. I mean, just reading through, we didn't even get much of a chance to talk about some of the great accomplishments that a lot of this field has already been known for in iRacing and sim racing, but we'll get a chance this season to really highlight a lot of that. But a deep field, but also the heat playing a massive role tonight, and some drivers really struggling with that. What did the heat mean for you? And obviously the fact that you were able to care for your tires pretty darn well and get up there into second place, you must have had something figured out.
Well, I like a loose car. It makes it a lot more fun to drive these cars when they're really loose coming off an exit. So the heat really didn't affect me that much. It was more along the lines of throttle control, so you didn't loop it in mid-corner. And there was some times that I was pretty much drifting around 1 and 2. 3 and 4 I had down pretty well pat, and I was diamond in corners to get a good run off on the people that were in front of me. The heat really didn't bother me that much. It was a fun race, but what's kind of stink was that we practiced with, I think it was like a 90, maybe a 80 degree track temp. And then we came in here and had 10 minutes of practice with 120 degree track temp.
Yeah, I just did a league race on Saturday. I had exactly the same thing. There's a little bit of an error made in setting up the session, and we ended up racing in extremely hot temperatures. But I guess everybody still has the same situation to deal with, and obviously you managed to get it done just about as good as anyone else and steal that second position. A great way to start your season here. Who would you like to thank before we roll on with the broadcast, Jamie Lee?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to thank you guys for putting on this great broadcast for us tonight. I would like to thank my teammates, Christopher Howell, Brad Schlegel, and we had a little straggler jump in. Justin Michael, he jumped in from Team Bandit. I would like to thank my sponsors, 1111 Veteran Project, T4T, Task 4 Troop. I'd like to thank Racing for Heroes, and I would like to thank Patent Paints for making this slick paint scheme for me and my teammates this entire season.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for saying thank you to us, and of course we appreciate everything you're doing out there and making it exciting for us on the track. And of course, good luck with the rest of your season over there, Jamie Lee. Looking forward to it, and also you got some great teammates. I'm sure everybody's going to be successful this season.
Thanks, Trevor. I hope we put on a good show for you guys, and make sure you, to all those that are watching, to subscribe to these guys. They are top notch.
Thank you so much. So that's Jamie Lee Dunning coming in with a fantastic second place finish here in the opening Icon Cup Series race. And of course, only one driver did better. And if you heard what Jamie Lee said, you should subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. But just one driver did better, and that was, of course, Jovi Ray, who managed in this opening race to absolutely have all the right answers. Other drivers spinning off the track, drivers hitting the wall, but Jovi Ray having what it took over the long green flag run here at the end to snag victory and gain 14 spots tonight en route in doing so. Congratulations, Jovi Ray, and welcome to the post-race chat here for the Icon Cup Series.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. That was awesome. That was a fun race there.
It seemed like a lot of fun. I mean, you know, hanging on in hot temperatures. Not everybody thinks that's so much fun, but apparently it was good news for you. So talk us through your race. How did it go, and what did it feel like out there in the 00 machine? And did you think that you had it won the whole race or not?
Honestly, I didn't think I was going to win. I had that little mishap on that restart. I thought I took it easy, but I guess not, and spun. But after that, I just kind of thought like I just needed to pace myself. My long run speed was kind of there, but for the win, I thought I was just going to get like a top 10 or top 15. But then, yeah, we saved that extra set, and I kind of guess that helped us get to the front.
Well, you chose the right time there, but it was quite an interesting pit cycle that happened. Several drivers choosing to stay out there. And now you chose to come in. You weren't the first driver to come in. Brendan Jenks coming in and taking that undercut strategy, but you and Jamie Lee Dunning both coming in within a couple of laps of each other. Was there a point where you got to the end of that green flag run? Did it get a little sketchy for you on the tires, or did everything pretty well hold together for you? Was lap traffic even a trouble for you there at the end?
Yeah, towards the end of that long run, I started getting really tight. I tried to use the high line in 1 and 2. You probably saw it. I flipped the wall a little bit, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna stick to the bottom, just stay here. I'm gonna ride this all the way. Just know what. Run what I know what I can, and save me. But honestly, I thought I was gonna wreck myself there because it got really loose a couple times.
Well, you managed to keep it on track there, and for the record, do you have a team that you're running with here in Icon?
Yeah, shout out to my boys at 313, Cody, Vincent, Brian, and Jacob. They didn't have good races, but hopefully the next one.
Well, we'll make sure that we get that for you correct in the broadcast graphics going forward. But Jovi, a wonderful win here tonight. And of course, you already gave a shout out to your teammates. Anybody else that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Shout out to you guys for running the broadcast. Shout out to the league for this amazing first race. I honestly can't wait for the rest of the season.
And indeed, it's going to be an awesome rest of this season. So looking forward to it. And, this has been an absolutely fantastic debut race. So much great side-by-side racing. Jovi, you managed to keep it clean out there. I don't know if you're going to get away with a 0x, because I guess anybody who comes away with 0 incidents ends up getting an extra 2 bonus points. But either way, 14 positions claimed. You took victory by over 4 seconds. If you can just do that every race, you'll just win the championship going away.
Yeah, I hope so. Cross my fingers I can, but...
Well, good luck out there, Jovi. We'll see you next time, my friend.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Same to you. So that is Jovi Ray taking victory for 313 Motorsports. A fantastic race for him. And Christian, this was something else here from old Atlanta. It makes you wonder why they even bothered to repave this place if it's going to put out that good of a race. Final thoughts on tonight as we close this one out.
This is going to be a fun season. I mean, these guys put on a heck of a show. And if they can have, 39 cars week in and week out, not many leagues are able to pull that off. Having numbers in your league is kind of difficult to keep. So we'll see how many guys we have throughout the season and see how many winners we can get. I mean, we've seen so many people out front in this race that could have won it. So I can't wait for the rest of this season.
Well, we saw it here tonight. It was Jovi Ray who stole the victory and managed to do so in front of some other fantastic drivers, including Ryan Patty. Great thank you coming from us and I think from the entire field for the great work that Ryan Patty and everyone else that's part of the admin team here in the Icon Cup Series has managed to put in and get this one done and off the ground. Let's go ahead and take a look at the upcoming schedule. As you can see it there on your screen, this is how it's going to roll out for season number 1, so you won't want to miss a moment of it. You'll want to go ahead and subscribe here on VirtualRacing.Network. Tick the little notification bell. You'll get all of these races notifying you in your email and probably on your phone, and why not? I'll just give you a personal phone call, and Christian the same. New Hampshire gonna be our next race coming up next week on Sunday. That should be a lot of fun, a great short track, and then to Pocono, Richmond, Michigan, Indianapolis, Watkins Glen, Daytona, Darlington, Kansas, and Bristol. That's your regular season, and then they begin the playoffs with Texas, Talladega, and Charlotte, moving into the second round with Las Vegas, Homestead, and Dover, and the final round, the final 4 as it's known, going to be from Phoenix. A very tricky track to get exactly right, so I'm looking forward to it. Next week at New Hampshire, totally different kind of race, and with this many cars in the field, it should be a hoot.
Yeah, I like New Hampshire. the product that they put out is good. I don't like racing the track, but it's definitely good races every time that we go there. So I'm curious to see how these guys will handle New Hampshire.
Well, this has been a fun one here for the Icon Cup Series. I can't wait till we get to New Hampshire. On behalf of myself, Trevor Greenfield, and Christian Snyder, and all of the team here at the Icon Cup Series, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and like this video for much more. Our very next broadcast will be tomorrow night here on VirtualRacing.Network. It'll be the NORA Truck Series, followed by, on Tuesday night, the NORA Cup Series. So I'm going to sign off. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. So long, everybody. See you tomorrow.